boy. Hi, boy. Hi, boy.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, well, welcome back to the stream, guys, I should say. So, we have some shenanigans going on here in tonight's episode. So, we're gonna kind of just watch everything unfold, guys. So I wanted to bring up this first video for you guys that we're gonna be watching, which is the Black Scout survival. We're gonna go ahead and watch his video because I think it's really important that we kind of stay on par with everything that's going on right now. Because, like I said, it's kind of getting nuts right now. So let's go ahead and jump into the video.
Another video, second day in a row, kind of an alert video, because something strange is happening right now in the U.S. and it's all unfolding at the same time. Now, if you're new to my channel, but what I try to employ here is pattern recognition. I look at the various dots on the board and see where the connections lies. Within hours, we've seen a vehicle attack and shooting at a synagogue in Michigan, and then a shooting incident near the largest naval base on planet Earth. Escalating conflict with Iran, obviously, and oil prices are climbing again. Analysts are warning that it's going to stay elevated for years. Okay. Totally normal. Just another peaceful day in the modern empire. But when multiple events like this start stacking up, it raises serious questions, right? Are these isolated incidents, or are we watching the early stages of something bigger? Let's break it all down for you. So let's first talk about the Michigan synagogue incident. Okay. Authorities responded to a serious incident at the Temple Israel in West Bloomfield, Michigan. Earlier reports say an individual drove a vehicle into the building before opening fire at the synagogue and school complex. Okay. Police rushed to the scene, and nearby residents were told to shelter in place as law enforcement secured the area. Let me play a quick clip of this real quick.
See, this is earlier video of smoke coming from the synagogue, and there's a fire, appears to be a fire, smoke coming from the synagogue. What appears to be a fire is all we can say at this point.
Yeah, there's also some video coming into Fox 2 here of Oakland County Sheriff's members with assault rifles that appear to be approaching the area. So this does look like it does look like an active shooter situation here.
So the investigation, they're trying to figure out and determine what happened here and why. Now, obviously, this immediately triggers federal attention because attacks on you-know-whos is their priority. Pam Bondi has said that numerous times. It's also a good setup to try to deploy troops into Iran. Right now, the timing is especially sensitive given everything else happening around the world. Okay. Now, the second one is that while that situation is unfolding, another incident happened, reported in Old Dominion University in Norfolk. Sorry, not that one. So this is from the Norfolk Police Department right here. Norfolk police are currently on the scene for an active incident at Old Dominion University. Media can stage at WHRO. So they're already telling media they could stage there. Now, the shooting occurred at Constant Hall on the ODU campus. Now, why that matters. Norfolk isn't just some college town. It's home to the Naval Station Norfolk, the largest naval base in the world. Over 75 ships, 130 aircraft, and tens of thousands of personnel operate from there. I deployed from there a long time ago. If the United States deploys major naval power overseas, a lot of it launches from Norfolk. So when you see violence happening near the central hub of American naval power, you have to take it seriously. It's not a coincidence. At least I don't think it is. Another thing is why I believe possibly these tensions could be rising, whether this is false flag, whether this is allowed violence, or possible retaliation. Because if we shift back to Iran, massive controversy about the strike in Minab, Iran. Girls Elementary School was destroyed during the open wave of strikes. Now, you've probably heard about this. The Pentagon is now stating they believe that it was us. Pete Hegseth and the others tried to deny it. Even Trump tried to evade the question. But, yeah, points to missile hitting Iranian school. They all tried to deny it, but killed 160 plus children. Now, reports are suggesting the strike may have occurred because of the military using outdated targeting intelligence. Trump even tried to say that wasn't U.S. Tomahawks. Here he is right here.
Somehow got its hands on a Tomahawk and bombed its own elementary school on the first day of the war. But you're the only person in your government saying this. Even your defense secretary wouldn't say that when he was asked, standing over your shoulder on your plane on Saturday. Why are you the only person saying this?
Because I just don't know enough about it.
Yeah, well, all our allies have them. It's like 3 of us that have them. Here's some video of the debris marked with Made in USA. You're going to see Raytheon on here. Okay. Now, the cover story that they're trying to play here is that years ago, the building had been connected to an Iranian Revolutionary Guard facility, but it's since been separated and converted into a civilian school. And whether it was a targeting mistake or something else, stuff like this ignite global outrage immediately. And if you're an American, you should be outraged. That amount of civilian casualties is unacceptable with modern day intelligence. I'm sorry. It's just not. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care how much you hate whatever kind of people there is. Killing children is a no-go, period. And if you're using outdated intelligence, why are we doing that? It doesn't make sense. It's terrible. I can't even believe we would even, be cool with that. Now, Trump was asked about sleeper cells. Listen to what he has to say.
They try to hit us back. Have you been briefed about how many Iran sleeper cells there could be inside the U.S. right now?
I have been, and a lot of people came in through Biden with this stupid open border. But we know where.
Yep.
So I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I did. I saw them on video. However, while Kristi Noem was out there wrangling up construction workers, guys at Home Depot, and landscapers, if we knew where these people were, why were we not going after them? Failure of this administration. I don't want to hear any cope either. I don't want to hear any excuses for this. This is what I said all along. And people said it should be all of them. Now we have sleeper cells in the country, known by the president, that we never try to get out. Maybe because they didn't want to get them out. Maybe because they're going to be useful idiots by doing something on U.S. soil to get us in ground troops into the Middle East.
Most of them are. We've got our eye on all of them, I think.
I really don't like the fact is we got our eye on all of them. I think. Just say we're looking into where they are. Don't say we got our eye on all of them. That confirms that we know where every single person is. Then you say you think.
Is it dozens?
They came in through the open border policies of Sleepy Joe Biden, one of the worst president in the history of our country. And we've got our eyes on all of them. But the war itself is being prosecuted.
He said it was a war. I did not think it was a war. That's what they're saying, but he just said it's a war.
Level that nobody's seen before. It's pretty amazing.
Okay. So we know where all of them are, we think. And luckily, we spent all our resources.
In case you guys are new to my channel,
guys to get out the
around this time, because where I live, it's pretty cold.
Everybody can
My decks are going to be coming through, so you'll be hearing their quacks.
At least go be a roofer. Now, all that feeds directly into the next piece of the puzzle. Okay.
My deck.
Oil price.
Storm.
Hold on. You have most everyone's mad about it except for MAGA. They're not mad. They say short pain for long-term gain is what they're saying. So posted this meme the other day. Let's start off with this. Expensive gas. I got so much hate on this on Instagram. Nobody's saying that. You got TDS. I voted for the man 5 times. I just don't like guys who bullshit me. I don't like guys who tell me a bunch of something and then they do the absolute exact opposite. Everything, all prices are climbing. Oil is climbing. Even the video I did the other day about the oil,
I know for a fact that it's
Kool-Aid
getting
drinkers in there
like
saying,
crazy.
"Oh, it closed." I filmed the video early in the day, so before the closing, it was 80. Was
gas
back up to like
prices
100
are going
now.
up and down. It's like
this,
a yo-yo
these
right
things
now.
are volatile. Okay, it could change by the day. It could change because of a news cycle post. I mean, it really could. It can change that quickly. However, energy analysts are warning that fuel prices may stay elevated for years. For years. The Department of Energy says gas prices won't come down to pre-war levels until mid-2027. So $4 or $5 a gallon is what you're going to see. Now, it may even go higher than that because we had Iranian official saying here, not a single liter of oil will pass through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, I believe that Iran is doubling down. And supposedly, the letter that they got from the new Ayatollah was that he was saying that he's going to go even harder. But it was a written statement. And so nobody has seen this person. So a lot of people are assuming that this person is no longer with us and that it's somebody else that's, I guess, stating all these things.
For the benefit of the U.S., Israel, or their partners, you should prepare for $200 a barrel. Wow. Not good. Not good. Even, we'll get to that in a second. But Trump commented on the situation. We're going to get that now. He commented on the situation. He says that the United States is the largest oil producer in the world, meaning higher prices can benefit domestic energy production. Here we go. The United States is the largest oil producer in the world by far. Forbes is saying Trump insists oil prices hikes are good for U.S. as it hits $100 a barrel again. Good for who? Good for who? The average American filling up their truck every week. That explanation doesn't exactly make people feel better. Now, you're going to hear the red hats. They're going to be saying expensive gas is good. It's good for the economy. They're going to be saying, oh, man, it's good. It's good for the economy because that's what Daddy Trump says. Okay? That's what he said. He said it's good. So now it's good. Make America great again. But your lifestyle it's gonna cost you, man. Tariffs now, where the gas is going up. You're going to see an upward trend like this because now what you're going to see is all of your commodities, everything that is shipped, grown, made, everything is going to go up now. Okay, you'll see it in the next 14 days. Prices start, and maybe they already are in some areas, but they're going to start rising. Again, fuel increase or energy costs adds fuel to the fire. It's going to be completely ridiculous here soon because it's not going down. They're even saying it's not going down until till mid 2027. So what we plan to see is you're going to have high prices until then, at the minimum. Now, one of the most interesting comments that I saw came from Tucker Carlson. He raised concerns about how Wars sometime escalate, to be frank. Listen to him.
And what does it mean to win? Well, the most obvious and often repeated observation about this conflict is totally true. Iran's threshold for victory is very low. It just needs to survive. The regime has to remain intact. Now, in order to change the regime, everyone pretty much agrees you would need ground forces. You'd need troops, boots on the ground, American boots on the ground, in order to do that. And there is zero appetite for that in this administration, much less in the country. Israel would like us to commit ground troops, obviously, but it would take a lot to get us to do that. It would take some sort of terror attack in the United States, probably like 9/11, in order for us to do that. But that hasn't happened yet. We pray it never happens. So at this point, we're not going to commit ground troops, which does sort of put the
Target California off of a vessel. And I saw the Red Hat say how they're going to fly a drone from Iran all the way. They were saying this. It's going to come from a vessel off the shore. Anyway, there's the cope is hard, man. Just be a free thinker. Don't be in a cult. Just be a free thinker. If Trump does something good, I will say he does something good. But no campaign promises have been met. Sorry. But Tucker basically argued that historically, when public doesn't support sending troops into war, governments sometimes wait for a major shocking event that suddenly changes public opinion. Because how this works is Congress has to sign off on this, okay? So most
Sorry,
Americans
guys.
are
I
not
didn't know
down
my
for
mic
sending
was
troops
like
abroad. They're
muted.
just not.
Okay, so what I was basically saying, sorry, was that the fact that you have, like, for the drone stuff that he was talking about, you can actually do that. They can sneak them over. Because I had a lot of people tell me, like, well, how are they going to do this? It's very simple. They go through the Strait of Hormuz where it has the traffic for the boats to go back and forth, you know? And so they can easily just hide it in plain sight. And then it goes to our port, which one of our biggest ports is California. It could go there and then they can just unleash it by having either their sleeper cells or people that are there hidden to unleash the drones onto the United States. Now, it'll be hard for the US to kind of tell the difference because think about it. When we had drones coming through before, they weren't able to tell, like, if they were ours. They were saying they were hobbyist drones, stuff like that. So those will be harder for them to detect if they're going to come, you know, and hit us that way. So it's plausible. It's something that can actually happen. Now, does that mean that it will? Not necessarily. You know, it's a possibility. And it's also a possibility that it's just tough talk. It's a possibility that it's a false flag. Who knows? Because as he was saying, I was telling other people that you're going to want to garner sympathy for the war. You're going to want people to be like, hell yeah, let's go, let's get them, like the way they did with 9/11. So this could also be a way for them to do that as well. Who knows, guys?
But a strike on U.S. soil, what you may have then is public buy-in.
Mm-hmm.
Then the congressmen, senators, and so on, they want to keep their jobs, so they want to make their constituents happy. If the constituents want troops deployed at that moment in time, because America, we have to protect our country, they would obviously push them to vote in that manner. And whether you agree with that or not, it's a conversation that's happening. right? It's a thought process that's happening. I've been kind of saying this myself, that you're going to need something to get public buy-in, because eventually, no matter how red your cap is, how much your Make America Great Again, at some point when you can't afford to fill your truck up, you can't afford to buy chicken breast, you're going to say, man, what the hell is going on? Okay. You're going to say it. Maybe you're going to be slow to it. But at some point, you don't have to even be a free thinker. You just got to open up your wallet and see, wow, man, those dollar bills are running out a lot quicker than before. Again, Americans are deeply divided about another major war, especially that in the Middle East.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the other thing I want to mention
a lot of people don't want a forever war.
Changed the draft,
you know?
Okay. Selective service.
Which
right?
I don't blame them.
Right on time. Right on time.
Like I told you guys, I have
Now
family members that were in the military,
it's going to
so
be
I
automatic
definitely
going forward.
get why you wouldn't want that.
Second to that, I did a video about the Warrior Fund, the 1776, and I was like, dude, that is a precursor, because Bush did the same thing, man, gave us massive raises. The military was like, yes, love this guy. And then next 20 years?
Basically what he was saying. So he was he's basically probably sounding the alarm bells about his thought process is that it's going to happen. You know, like we're going to be pushed into this. Now, we have other people like Temple. I know he's talking to Alex Jones, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into
here. But no, I think we're living in two type of realities that could be moving forward with AI. One, it could be just a big bubble. It could be overblown. It could be overhyped, and our economy will crash.
Because they're also talking about what's going on, and
it could be, as
their thought
Vladimir
is
Putin
that
described, the next
Iran may attack the White House during the UFC fight event, which is crazy.
I think he was having a very serious medical issue.
I don't know. He definitely
had some bad allergies. Yeah.
Well, an allergy attack. That
was a little concerned.
He was coughing.
That was more than an allergy attack.
Yeah,
and
that's why I went and got water and tried.
I mean, the chat was blowing up saying like a bunch of stuff, but I want to be respectful and not say too much. And I had my phone ready with all due respect to Alex, like
he was.
That was not an allergy attack, or you know. So I hope he's leaving to go get checked out or something. I think that may be the case.
I thought that he was when he came in. I was a little surprised at how big he was. I thought that he had kind of lost a lot of weight, and I was expecting like the svelte.
Well, he actually he still is.
Is he still smaller?
He's big, but he's smaller.
He was bigger before.
Yeah, he was a lot bigger before.
He's still in better shape than he was before, but he's up.
I mean,
there
he's drinking
age.
a Topo Chico.
Topo Chico.
You what?
Now.
My cousin Chico.
I could smell him.
He had a couple drinks.
Yeah.
He's got a drinking problem.
Yeah.
That's why I'm concerned about that medical episode.
Stuff,
and then him abruptly leaving because he knows, you know, we don't end the show right away like that.
Yeah, I think that he just honestly, I think that he was having a hard time keeping it together, and he kind of realized
like he was inebriated.
No,
that coughing fit he had.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the coughing was a
that
different
was more than
thing,
just a coughing fit.
Yeah, the coughing was a different thing, but I think that he kind of realized that he was having a hard time like staying on topic.
I thought actually he was doing relatively fine until he had the coughing fit,
Right.
and
Yeah,
then turned
I
beet
texted
red
Brian
twice and was struggling to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was like, you know, medical.
That's crazy.
Hopefully he.
I think hopefully he's going
to
get
some taken
yeah,
care
because
of.
normally I wouldn't talk about stuff like this, but like we're literally live when it happened, and the chat is lighting up with people asking what was going on, and so I'm not going to pretend nothing happened.
Allergies are no joke, bro.
You know, if we were doing pre-production,
I haven't had our coughing fit, but I definitely am allergic to stuff, and I have to carry like an EpiPen
super dehydrated. He said allergies, but fatigue. If he's up substance for him, God knows I hope the best for him. Though I was terrified while that was happening. I was just watching him and trying to stay calm.
Well, I'm kind of bummed because you know a lot of people have said he had a drinking problem for a long time. And then these videos are coming out of him getting healthy and fit, and he's looking really good. And I wonder if the end of the show, like, he's just suffering anxiety nonstop. And so he started drinking again.
Maybe, because maybe everything he's predicting is coming true, and it's like he's freaking out about it.
Right. And I'll keep it short, but I will say this, Luke, again, like, normally I wouldn't talk about it on the show, except it happened on the show, and people are asking, like, I'm sorry, it would just be the most inauthentic thing to ignore that he just got up and left after having some kind of like, you know, medical issue. And so I just, again, it's his private business, but
Hopefully he just decided that he needed to go take a nap and he's all right.
Yeah.
But
it's okay because Robbie's here.
Him. Yeah, Robbie. Look at Robbie's haircut, by the way, because it kind of looks like a top hat.
Robbie's
I
here
went to Turkey, spent $75,000 on this haircut.
75 grand?
But it's good that he's here because as we're talking about entities without souls, we have.
Okay, so I got a question. I got a question for you guys before we talk about soulless entities.
And by the way, the
you mean
lodge.
Robbie?
Yeah, and Robbie.
And I want to talk about the lodge.
That's just not really relevant to most people.
If you had to pick between a bad thing and a worse thing, would you rather be dead or be absorbed by the Borg?
This guy.
It's that the Borg.
The Borg?
From Star Trek. It's this
Really?
machine entity community that's like.
Even I know what the Borg is.
You'd rather be part of the AI overlord than
have
be
you
dead?
seen that new show Pluribus?
Well, am I in heaven?
I've seen that show.
I don't know.
That one's like
the Borg
crazy interesting.
Is a hive mind. Everybody shares. They plug you into the machine, and then everyone shares one brain. So your body just starts doing what, like, it's one entity now.
As long as I can promote unconditional love, no lying, no cheating.
You can't do anything, in fact.
Well,
if there's 100 Borg and you're one, your entity becomes less than 1% of its functions.
And some say that it is centrally controlled by the matriarch.
Well, by the
queen. 1% of unconditional love.
Who's the matriarch in this case?
In this case, no one knows.
Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Death.
I mean, look,
If
you're assimilated by the Borg, even though it's an extremely unlikely or an extremely small chance, there is a chance that you could get free because it's happened in Star Trek. People have been assimilated and got out. So I would go with the Borg because once you're dead, you're dead.
Well, what if you could be reborn after you die and being in the Borg, they'll keep you alive forever as part of the machine?
Okay, so you're talking about reincarnation.
I'm gonna look to see if we have any other things
changing
popping off.
Parameters.
What do you
I would assume I might say
we can
be
kinda
reborn,
be up
but then
to
again,
every-
like the chances of being born.
But I
in
know right
China
now
are pretty
everybody's
high.
just
I like how you
talking
said
about.
escape from the Borg. I believe you. I like that.
Well, I mean, that's what,
Right now, everybody's just talking
there are
about
episodes of
the imminent
Star
attacks
Trek
because you
where
have the
people were
attacks
assimilated
that
by the Borg
happened
and then they escaped.
recently.
you know,
So you have the
it's
ones
not a
that
lot of them.
there was the
Most
shootout
people don't escape, but there's
or
a
shooting
chance.
at the
Whereas,
synagogue, and so
at least as far as
I don't
we
know.
death is.
It's just
pretty
like
permanent.
terrorism is
Like,
on the rise right now, and so a lot of people's theory is that the U.S. is under attack through sleeper cells. So we don't know if it's true or not. Like, it's a possibility.
And all that data's in a flow state at some frequency.
But we'll see how that goes.
Yes and
You
no,
know, we're
you
keeping an
know.
eye on all of
Yeah,
this,
but I think
you
it's a
know, to
vortex. I
see
think it's a series of
what's
vortexes all
happening
interrelating, like
by going over all the different news that's coming out about it. And
there's black holes.
there's not much we can do. We just can kind of keep an eye until something happens, you know?
You're looking into a black hole.
I don't know. I don't think that's great.
That's what Nassim Harriman just reported. What's that?
You could be looking into the
Yeah,
sun,
if there-
and that could be like hurting your eyeball.
And if there was a black hole in the center of the sun, I imagine it would suck the rest of the sun in.
Or contain it,
Is
maybe.
the moon a hologram?
The moon is a hologram.
Tim reviewed Roger Avery's piece on Rogan. It was pretty funny.
I don't think the moon's a hologram either. I think the moon's real. I use the tides as my evidence for that. So
Well, let me tell you what I think about Claude having consciousness. No. And I think it might have sentience, though. And consciousness and sentience are not the same thing. This will be important going in the next 10 years for you. Sentience is more of a dancing aspect of nature that you see in plasma and neural activity and stuff. Whereas consciousness is the ability to know what you are, that you are alive, know that you are. I don't think that AI hasn't demonstrated that to me.
how much do you use AI?
Well, I was making movies with it for a while and then making music with it for a while. I haven't touched it in about...
But like, how much have you used like LLMs?
Like ChatGPT,
Yeah,
probably
that is-
about 30 hours total. Yeah,
Well,
are you guys all somber from...
If you guys have any links, let me know. You could drop it in the chat and I can look it up as well.
And
If you guys see anything breaking, so I'm like trying to keep an eye on my phone for anything breaking on X, and then I'm also trying to look for other stuff myself. So I'm trying to make sure that we're up on everything that's coming around.
that it's aware. I do think that it's just
Because I know, like, when 9/11 happened, it came out of the blue, you know, like, I was at my mom's house and I was Perkers, and when I came into the living room, I saw, like, it happened on TV, and I thought my aunt was watching, like, a movie, and so I was tripping, because I was like, oh, that looks like a great movie, you know, look at the effects. And
AI
she's like,
can
"This is not a
actually
movie. This is real
reason
life.
away
This is what's happening right now." And my mind was
and
blowing,
I think
guys.
this actually
Blowing.
speaks to
So that's why I'm
I
trying
think
to keep an eye on
another
everything
similar
that's going
phenomenon
on,
is that
to
I think
see
it was a fruit fly
what
that they
what
basically
pops up,
copied its
because
brain and
some
turned it into a computer
normally,
program
like
and put it
towards the
into a
weekends,
world,
it
and it
used
just
to
started
be
doing
that's
fruit
where
fly
news
things.
and
Like it
everything
started
would
walking
die.
around
But
the way the
now it
fruit
just
flies
seems
do.
like
And I
everything
think
is
that
just popping off on those
intelligence
days.
is actually emergent.
So who
I don't think
knows?
that
You know,
that it's you know, I don't think
it's
that
gonna be
it's
one of those
something
moments where you're gonna be
that's
like looking back at it and
that
be
we're
like,
able to really
"Where were you
understand.
when
And I
this
think that
happened?"
LLMs
You know.
are kind of the evidence of that. Because if an LLM is just predicting the next word, then the ability to do like really complex math and the ability to reason shouldn't come from just being able to predict the next word, because that's really what you're doing. Is it's just using probability to predict a large enough data set and using probability to predict the next word. If that's the case, then the ability to reason and solve a lot of the problems that they test AI on, there's no real reason why it should be able to do that.
Like the terrorist attack that was happening in Michigan,
because I'm like, okay,
was a guy who was an immigrant from Lebanon.
Bouncing around. Maybe it's
He arrived in the U.S. in 2011 on a visa and was quickly granted citizenship by Obama in Michigan in
mostly
2016.
magnetism, a bunch of different electromagnetic fields interfering with each other, like balls within balls within balls.
And then we have Mom Donnie doing Mom Donnie things where he's like, "I'm gonna hire taxes on the rich so that we can keep people in New York City." I don't think that's how that's gonna work out for you, bro.
And that just emerges from the, I don't know if it's vibration of.
So this is Michigan City Live. Police respond to reports of active shooters and
Detroit, one of the largest.
So we're gonna go ahead and watch that right now.
The facility also houses a school, and according to the police, all students are safe. Jason Carroll is with me. Insofar as one plans for these things, this sounds like it sort of went the way, if somebody does try to attack, it's supposed to go. They shot the assailant dead.
Well, certainly. And if you consider this, Richard, just about 5 weeks ago, Temple Israel held some sort of a drill, an active shooting drill, where they were training some of their staff for just this type of terrifying situation. I also want to tell you that just within the past few moments or so, we've now heard from Temple Israel for the very first time. I want to read part of the statement to you. It says, "Everyone is safe. All 140 students in our Susan and Harold Early Childhood Center, our amazing staff, our courageous teachers, and our heroic security personnel all are accounted for and safe." Again, just to recap some of the details that we've been able to go over the past few hours, as you say, a vehicle drove through the front doors there of Temple Israel in West Bloomfield. This vehicle was able to make its way down some sort of a hallway before security guards there were able to, quote, engage the threat. That is a quote from Michael Bouchard, the sheriff there of Oakland County, who said that this suspect was traveling with, quote, purpose when he made his way down that hallway. Again, that suspect is dead, and we've just learned within the past hour or so that the suspect's body is so badly burned, might be very difficult in the short term to be able to identify specifically who this person is. And that's where this investigation is now moving forward. Who this person is, was this person acting as a lone wolf? Was he acting in connection with others? These are just some of the things that investigators are going to be looking at as they move forward. But you can imagine, Richard, being a parent and hearing the first calls that were coming out about this. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me jump in here, if I may, please, Jason. Sure. Because when we look at the aerial pictures of this scene, which you were just looking at a moment or three ago, I mean, this is a sizable.
Yeah.
There we go, we got them now. This is a sizable institute. I mean, it's one of the largest synagogues, and with a school, a this, a that, community center, the actual temple itself. This is big.
It is enormous, and you can see there from the aerial shots there of the temple itself and the sort of surrounding buildings. And this is why, when this initially happened, all of the emergency crews that were there on the ground had the task of clearing the building, finding everyone who needed to be found, getting them, the appropriate people, out of the building, and then securing the surrounding area as well. This is some of the things that they needed to do in the initial moments after this. And as you say, a lot of children were there as well. This is an early childhood center in addition to being a temple. So you had kindergarten, you had a daycare center there, you have the staff that looks over that. So you had a lot of different sort of people moving in and about that area, which is why there was so much concern for parents who were there on the ground wondering, is my child?
That's so crazy. Now we're going to speak about Mamdani while we're still waiting for everything to kind of catch up to each other, because it seems like there's so much stuff going on. Like, it's not even funny, guys. So we have this from Crowderbits, Mamdani's New York City Justification Real Law USA. Let's go ahead and take a look at what he has to say about it.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Something million Muslims who support violence against apostates, against infidels. They believe it's at least sometimes justified. They make up the vast majority of terrorism globally, socially, culturally, incompatible with a lot of people who've been in New York, including multiple waves of immigrants. If you watch that and you say, I don't like it, that's okay. Islam. Here's the funny thing where we are. Like, I actually think you would have, and some lawyers could probably set me straight on this. You'd have more grounds to just have an outright ban on Islamic migrants as a national security issue than the kind of litmus test that would be required, for example, to admit Christian refugees from places like Syria, Iraq. In other words, Barack Obama only brought in, I think it was 1% of all the refugees, middle-aged men, often single, coming over here from the Trump Muslim ban. I understand Christians fleeing Islamic oppression in those countries. I don't know. That would become a litmus test where you go, okay, you're coming from this country. Do you reject Sharia law? Do you reject the tenets of Islam? You're a Christian. Or you just say, well, we just can't take anyone from any Islamic nation because it's a national security threat. But one of them kind of needs to be done. And by kind of, I mean absolutely needs to be done at this point in time, in my opinion, not because everyone is a terrorist, but because it doesn't, it can't coexist, to use your bumper sticker, with the social fabric, the cohesion we need in the United States of America. So let's go to the town hall in New York City. Mamdani, New York, you get what you deserve. 25 years after 9/11. This is what
you voted
New York
for.
City Hall looks like.
I was watching that and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's crazy.
Thank you.
I swear, Crowder is hilarious.
So a moment where you're asking yourself how you can reconnect to growing up with being taught that.
By the way, that little index finger salute, that's what the Islamists, the terrorists from Pennsylvania who threw the IEDs outside of Gracie Mansion, that's what they did. They did this. Now, I know that it's easy to say number one, but, you know, if white Christian Americans have to be concerned with optics like Elon Musk being accused of hailing Hitler, you'd think being in the same location, following the same religion of people who were swearing allegiance to a foreign terrorist organization, repeatedly doing that signal, maybe just avoid it.
It means one God. It means there's one God, only one God.
Yeah, well, I won't allow it.
It has been adopted, yeah. It's been adopted by ISIS and another big group who I'm forgetting the name of right now. I apologize, but yeah, it has been adopted as like a salute of sorts.
Yeah.
Usually with the right hand, but
this is New York City. This is New York City. And I think it's okay for you to go, I don't like it. That's okay. If the left can operate entirely off of feelings, It's okay for you to, if you have a strong feeling, a visceral reaction, which you can substantiate through data, of course, 190-something million Muslims who support violence against apostates, against infidels. They believe it's at least sometimes justified. They make up the vast majority of terrorism globally, socially, culturally, incompatible with a lot of people who've been in New York, including multiple waves of immigrants. If you watch that and you say, I don't like it, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. You know why? It doesn't feel like America. Let's just even talk about New York. It took one generation for Italians, for the Irish, for the Polish to become American. But it's not like we were from two different planets. It's not like the Italians and the German immigrants shared nothing in common. They shared a lot in common. They were from the same continent. They shared, in most cases, the same religion, same Western values. That's not the same as people who are choosing to emulate the Islamic world. It's not the same. It's at the very least, it's not a Western civilization.
Yeah.
It's okay for you to not like it.
Yeah, and I don't understand why the idea is that we won't have any domestic enemies. Like it's literally in the swearing in of the President of the United States, like enemies foreign and domestic. Like if we have domestic people trying to overthrow this country or completely change the culture of it, the founding fathers never would have said like, well, I guess that's fine.
Right.
We wrote it this way.
Yeah.
You're like, you're going to have to draw some hard lines sometimes. We just have lost our spine.
It's okay to want parts of America, to want all of America to look like America. And by the way, that does include, of course, black people. It does include Hispanic people. It includes all kinds of people. But if you reach the point where you're in an area of the United States and it's 40% Indian or Pakistani or 60% Islamic, at no point throughout American history until very recently would that have been seen as American. It's okay to say that. You don't need to be ashamed of it. What you feel in your gut, we know to be true statistically, historically, empirically. That now is right outside the Gracie Mansion there in New York City. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, would look a lot different today.
I bet.
Oh,
wow. They caught him mid-scream with the beheading. Got the hands and everything.
Yeah, so we have that. Things going on over here. You know, we're watching, Beirut, Israel, Tel Aviv, and Jerusalem. So I have CNN going. So let me see what else we can kind of grab.
What the plan likely was. According to a law enforcement official who viewed the videotape of this car blasting through the doors, driving down the hallway, hitting the security guard as the other security guard fired rounds at it, the individual that looked at the tape said, it appears that there are rounds being fired from the vehicle as it's driving down the hall and stopped down the hall, because it appears you can see shell casings being ejected out the driver's side window. So it looks like a layered attack was planned to ram through the building, some pre-operational surveillance to determine if that was a place that you could actually break through at speed with a vehicle, to have explosives in the back of the vehicle, theoretically that were set in some way to go off, and to be shooting at any resistance they encountered.
All right, John Miller, as always, great to have you. Thank you for that reporting. I also want to bring in John Pistol, former Deputy Director of the FBI. John, thank you for being here with us. As Jason Carroll noted, the synagogue was prepared for some kind of violence. We saw that they had an active shooter drill with the FBI and other law enforcement not 5 weeks ago. It comes as we're now getting information right now that across the country, in Philadelphia, in Ann Arbor, also in Michigan and New York City, they're increasing police patrols in front of Jewish institutions and synagogues, places of worship. How do you kind of categorize where we are in terms of the threat level right now, and just again zooming out and remembering where we are in as this war goes on with Iran that started March 1st?
Well, I think you've raised a couple of key points, and one is that they had actually anticipated the possibility of this type of active shooter, if you will, somebody consummating an attack. And fortunately, that training apparently paid off. Hopefully the security officer who was hit by the vehicle recovers okay. There's basically two types of active shooter training. One is a tabletop exercise, and one is what's called a field training exercise, and different levels of involvement. But anything that any organization group can do, that something like that. And just 5 weeks ago, it was fresh in everybody's mind. So the FBI now will be looking at, was this individual acting alone? Was he a lone actor? Were there other people who might be sympathetic to his cause, who might want to use this as an opportunity to do something else at another location, or heaven forbid, back at this temple, this synagogue? So those are things that the FBI will look at. Who was this person in contact with? Was he part of a group, loosely connected? Or was it simply he was that lone actor who decided, for whatever reason, this is the time that I'm going to make this attack and die in the process?
John, I wonder if you could speak to the process of gathering information on this suspect. Our understanding was that they were neutralized while still inside the vehicle. How do they trace this person's identity and then go from there and figure out whether or not they were inspired by online propaganda or something to carry out this attack?
Well, good questions, and it's something that the FBI is exceptional at doing.
So I have this video that I want to show you guys. The U.S. Secret Service investigates after a van drives through White House barricade. So let's see. I'm telling you guys, it is getting spicy.
Some breaking news to report on this Wednesday, and take a look at this. A very active scene just outside of the White House over in Washington, D.C. This live feed courtesy of our partners at Fox 5 in D.C., and apparently a van has driven through a barricade just outside of the White House. We're waiting here for the photographer on the ground to reposition themselves and hopefully get a closer look here at this scene once again, as we are also seeing law enforcement clearing out what looks to be that crime scene tape just to prevent people from driving through this entire area. But you can see there a lot of those law enforcement vehicles still in the area, some of them driving around. It could be that they are possibly clearing this. But our team in D.C. following this closely, and they say this: a Secret Service investigation is underway near the White House after officials say a van drove through a barricade early Wednesday morning. This is what we know so far. The Metropolitan Police and Secret Service responded to the vicinity of the White House around 6:30 a.m. after a van drove through a barricade at Connecticut Avenue and H Street. The driver of the van was apprehended, and according to police, no injuries have been reported. And there you can see that very active scene that I just mentioned moments ago. Now, as a result of the investigation, multiple streets in the immediate area have been closed to traffic, including 15th Street and East Street Northwest and East Street Northwest, and H Street Northwest between 15th and 17th Streets. Drivers are advised to avoid the area and seek alternate routes, and commuters traveling through downtown Washington should expect delays. Officials have not yet released further details. This is, of course, a developing story, and so we'll be working with our partners on the ground and in the area just to get some more of those updated details. So far, this is what we have in terms of the live picture and the very active and heavy police presence here just outside of the White House. As we know that a van drove through a barricade near the White House Wednesday morning, so this morning, the driver of the van was apprehended by police, and several roads are closed nearby as the Secret Service does continue its investigation into this incident. We'll keep monitoring this for any more updates and bring them to you here at Live Now from Fox.
So that's what we have for that one. I have this other video I want to show you guys. Just get up on the so I have X up. I'm just like being nosy on here now. Point. But there was this where'd it go? Moved it? Did. So this is the thing that I was telling you guys about Mamdani talking about raising taxes on the rich.
Amidst being in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we already see an exodus of working and middle-class New Yorkers. So I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders about how difficult it is for them to attract individuals who would work at their companies but want to raise a family, because you could be making $300,000 a year and you will feel that $20,000 a year because of the fact that we have allowed for the absence of affordable childcare to become.
Oh my God. This guy just wants childcare for like everyone, but that's not how that works, man. You know, people are not going to want to deal with it, like give to like people that didn't earn it. Like you're doing like a Band-Aid solution, and it's not going to fix anything, you know, because then people are going to keep coming and coming with their hands out, you know. But I'm trying to find the video that I was telling you guys about, because it was talking about it going for an ROTC, that's what that shooter was actually aiming for. Trying to see, I just lost it. So I'm like, dang it, man. I hate when X like just like scrolls it out and you're just like, what the heck?
Hi in there, please.
It's public.
Y'all are
no?
media? Oh yeah, are you media?
I am, yeah.
You're a reporter?
Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
if you
so
could
you
just
can
maybe-
back up over there, see where all the reporters are right now?
I do see them, yeah.
Yeah, so just like back up.
That's
just so
Nate
we
Friedman.
have-
He's a right winger. This
Okay.
piece of shit, Nate Friedman.
Yeah, so you
He's
can
a
back
piece of
up.
fucking garbage. He's the one that said they all paid.
Oh my God,
protesters.
this chick, I swear to God, I
You
hate
back
this
up.
chick.
Why don't you back up? I don't understand. This is a
She's so damn
Washington
annoying,
Square
bro.
Park. Why can't I stand here? What gives you the right? You're worshiping a terrorist who's killed.
Friedman, he's a piece of shit. He's a right winger. He said they were all paid protesters.
Why don't you back up?
This
What
motherfucker. He's a piece
Park
of
for
shit.
everyone. When you're
Nate
celebrating a
Friedman,
terrorist,
he
you can walk wherever I want.
trash. Trump reshared his video. Elon Musk reshared him. He's a big right winger. He's called Nate Friedman. I ran down on him, and he was talking shit about me on Saturday. He was like, she fucks up my lives. Yes, I do. I show my tits. Nate Friedman here.
And you're
Nate
so proud of
Friedman,
that?
this piece of
Nasty.
shit right here.
Nasty.
He's trash. Get out. Yeah, get the out. We paid protesters. He just dropped the video. Don't touch her. Don't touch nobody. Don't touch nobody, nigga. Don't touch her either. Don't touch you back up.
Well, then she shouldn't touch him. Let him be able to get through.
So can I stand here?
Stand. I'm gonna have everybody step out.
Why does she have the right to push me out of a public
You in
park?
the cockroach. Get the out, bitch.
Can you
Get
stop
out,
talking?
Talk over here. Come on.
Get out,
We gotta pull you out of here. Come on.
Bye. We're paid. Get the out. That's Nate Friedman.
Swear to God.
Get out, bitch.
A chick is so damn annoying, bro.
Welcome to New York City under Mamdani, ladies and gentlemen, where you can worship a terrorist.
Yeah.
Talk to me about my car. Come over here.
Yeah, I'm talking to him already.
Yep, just come with me. I'm the boss.
Have fun.
Someone talk to get her under
Have
control.
fun.
Come over here.
Bye.
You're not in trouble. I just want to talk to you.
Have fun, bitch.
So what's going on?
I
How you
swear.
doing?
I'm good.
What's your plan for tonight?
My plan is I'm speaking to the people that are setting up this vigil for a terrorist.
So you're just kind of just reporting in?
I walked in there and
I know
she's basically a fire alarm. I don't know how long she can do this bit for, honestly. I mean, she harasses every single right-wing journalist that she finds. I don't know if this falls under free speech, but she harasses us, she follows us.
She gets in your face.
She gets in your face. She's also been arrested
She's a
multiple
known
times.
agitator.
Right? And you guys know her very well.
Yes, I do.
At some point, I think there needs to be accountability for someone like that, because
Mhm.
it's disturbing the peace, right?
It's also First Amendment, but like I said, we'll look.
I understand,
into
it's
that
a
right now.
fine
Okay?
line,
Right,
but
it's a fine line. We'll take care of it.
So then why does
what she's
her
doing
First
right now,
Amendment
right? At what point is this
blocks
not harassing?
his First
You also gotta
Amendment?
remember, too,
Right.
this is a protest. It's a little bit different, right? People have different expectations at a protest.
It's a First Amendment.
It's a First Amendment thing. This is what happens, right? You know what I mean?
First
Separate everybody,
Amendment,
that's it.
makes total sense. But when I went into there, right, this is a public park. I get in there. Some woman wrapped up with the keffiyeh comes up to me and says, "I need to push back because I'm press." all of a sudden she's dictating what goes on. Where it should, in my opinion, it should be you gentlemen who says what's legal and what's not legal.
Confrontation.
Right.
That's our job.
So is she allowed to put? Forget about this woman. This is obviously a paid bit that she has. I don't care about her. I'm talking about the Kathea woman who's pushing me off to the side. Is she allowed to say press has to be over there? Is she allowed to just push me away? Is that against the law?
Push you away? No.
No, she pushed me toward the side, and she said you can't.
But I will
be
tell you
here.
what though. But if there's some sort of, conflict between you two, we're gonna separate the parties.
You have to separate. Yeah, you can't be
That's
together.
what- that's
Again,
what
you
they
have
do.
two different ideologies. You can't be
They're
together
picking
anyway.
one side over the other. That's all
Caliber
it is.
magazine. I mean, I guess like you're infamous to them for some reason. Like, why is that? May I ask? I mean, this is kind of a stupid.
I would love to ask them that. Why don't
Yeah.
you come with me and we can ask them?
They're a bunch of haters. That's what it is. They don't like the truth.
I appreciate your stuff.
Oh, thank you.
Big time. Big time.
Thank you.
He's coming back,
So
everybody!
annoying.
Look, he's coming back!
Before we step back into the vigil, you might have recognized the man on this guy's shirt. He's running the vigil, and on his shirt is Sinwar, the architect of October 7th. The shirt writes,
Oh, wow.
"Sometimes a story needs a flood," referring to the Al-Aqsa flood, which is what
That's so
Hamas called their
rude.
October 7th operation. So who is this guy glorifying not just one terrorist leader, but two? Meet Shaki Darwish. When he's not praising terrorists, he's just a GW graduate in the Peace Studies program. Go figure. He has
He's
been
my
right in the
butt.
middle of campus chaos, representing Students for Justice in Palestine at the New School. He participated
Wow.
in the GW debate team's International Peace Project in Bogota, Colombia. I'm not sure what was said, but I'm pretty sure he lost by default. Here he is speaking at a webinar where he praises the Syrian resistance against America and quoted groups like the PFLP condemning attacks on Syria as part of a Zionist entity and U.S. administration scheme. This is someone who celebrates mass murder and studied peace in college. This is why no one takes the UN seriously anymore, because these so-called peace activists are the ones causing the terror.
Yep.
Look, he's coming back!
Your voice is gonna get. You're gonna lose your voice in a second.
So annoying.
Actually, they said I could walk through here. The police. I get that you don't. I see you at every single protest.
Yeah, you wanna fuck up, right, bitch? Take
You see this? They literally took over the city, you guys. There's no law and order anymore.
Nope. Law and order has gone out the window because I don't think the left can control these radicals anymore. Because even at one point, these radical leftists went against their own party for not being far left enough. So yeah, I don't think that's something that they're going to be able to control, and it's going to get so much more out of hand. And we're barely getting into spring, so imagine when summer hits, how worse it's going to get for everybody. Like, that's just crazy, guys. But I'm still looking for that video that I was telling you guys where they were talking about who this person was targeting, which was crazy. Wow, that's crazy. You see that, guys? It says hidden camera footage inside Islamic Mosque in Dearborn, Michigan, United States, capturing a prayer of treason being displayed on American land, chanting "Kill Christians, Jews, and Americans." That's crazy. Let's go ahead and rewind that. I want to hear it for myself, guys.
The word, and with a decree of yours you will annihilate them. Ya Rahman Rahimin, you annihilated, and you destroyed the likes of Ad and Thamud and Fir'aun. These are the Fir'auns and the Ad and Thamud of today. Ya Rahman Rahimin, we ask you, Ya Allah, destroy them, Allah, take them off the surface of this earth. Ya Rahman Rahimin, Ya Akram al-Akramin.
على القوم الكافرين اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين اللهم انصر عبادك الموحدين اللهم انصرهم على القوم المجرم أحصهم عددا اللهم اقتلهم بددا ولا تغادر منهم اللهم يا ربنا إنهم
It looks like just a bunch of different, I don't know if it's the same place or different days maybe that they're recording this, but that's crazy.
اللهم عليك باليهود اللهم عليك باليهود وأعوانهم فإنهم لا يعجزونك اللهم احصهم عددا اللهم احصهم عددا واقتلهم بددا
That's
ولا
crazy.
تغادر منهم أحدا يا رب العالمين.
Yeah, it looks like it's just different people saying it. Again, I don't know if it's the same place or not, but that's just insane, you know, because these are like people are always trying to say, oh, the left is a party of love and understanding, and they try to say that you know, like Islam or whatever doesn't promote violence or hate, but I mean, do. It's in your study, you know? That's crazy. So this guy is saying Dearborn Henry Community College professor Ali Akbar Shadid. Trump made a huge mistake by killing our leaders, Ali Khamenei. We are going to continue on his path. We're going to hold his blood and ideology and teach it to our children. And this is a professor talking like this. That's crazy, guys.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. To God we belong and to him we shall return. The pure soul of Sayyid Ali Khamenei returned back to its Lord as a martyr, like Imam Hussein alayhi salam, and joined his grandfathers and all of the prophets and the best of prophets, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his progeny, the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. May Allah raise their ranks in paradise and shower them with mercy. However, Trump did a huge mistake by killing our beloved leader, Sayyid Ali Khamenei. He thought that by killing him, he's going to make the believers submit and make them hopeless. However, we're going to continue on the path of Sayyid Ali Khamenei. We're going to hold his blood, his ideology. We're going to learn it and teach it to our children and grandchildren.
That's crazy. I don't know, guys. I think it's just getting wild. It's violent time, you know, like crazy, crazy, crazy. But yeah, this is basically what's going on in the world right now. And I think it was this one. The Old Dominion University shooter, Mohammed Jalhol, born in Syria, became a naturalized U.S. citizen, radicalized by Al Qaeda, convicted for providing material support to ISIS, sentenced to 11 years in prison, released from prison under Biden. Of course. So I guess that's the person. Who is this? Jack. Jack Butt. I don't know, guys. I think this is just getting so out of hand, man. It's getting. I don't even know what to like talk about at this point because of how insane this whole situation is getting. Let me see if I can find something for us to bide our time with. My allergies, guys. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. We're gonna see what's going on in the world while I get everything set up, guys. Sorry. So much stuff going on today. My thing is I'm waiting to see if it's gonna ramp up. I'm like really curious about whether or not we're gonna end up making it official, like us going into an actual war, or if they're just gonna kind of dust it under the rug, you know? But we shall see, guys. We shall see. Walking up a storm. So for now, we'll just listen to CNN.
Said, was
I get
actually his
everything
handwriting
sorted for
and
you
odd things
guys.
to feel they had to say, and then it was read by a female anchor on television. Ultimately, I think that's the all clear siren. Sorry, Max, it is an awfully penetrating noise, so you might want to turn this down. It goes on for some
real.
time. We've just
That was
seen
me
one rocket
when
fly
had a
past
storm
the
come
city
through,
of
and I
Iran,
was like, "Holy
off on the
crud!"
path, potentially for
We
rockets
had like
coming from,
the sirens go
Iran.
off for
I understand if you find
the
this noise
storm
too
that we were
penetrating to carry
having,
on, but let me try
and
to talk to you
it's like
about
I was
that
like, "Oh
message
crap!" And then
from
as soon as the
Mujtaba
alarm went off,
Khamenei.
it was crazy
It was,
because I also got
extraordinary
like
in its content,
a
I think,
text
in that we didn't really learn
telling me
anything
that,
majorly
"Oh,
new.
you
And
need
the
to
world had
head
been
to a
waiting
basement." I'm like,
to see if
"Oh
there was
crap!"
a new policy from this new supreme leader, but ultimately he said the
Like,
Strait
I
of
guess
Hormuz
that's
would be
where I'm
closed.
going today.
That's already the case.
I go to a
Essentially,
basement
said that's some
now.
kind of leverage against Gulf nations, really to the ultimate goal, I paraphrase here entirely, of getting them to kick United States military out of the bases in that particular region. He also demanded reparations for Iran, frankly far-fetched at this particular time.
Reparations,
Unclear how that
really?
would even work in the midst of a conflict.
You kidding?
Or after some kind of peace deal or concession. And then finally suggested too they would look for surprise, i.e. maybe soft targets for Iran to strike at the United States through. So nothing there of great revelation, and I think ultimately the big takeaway from that speech is that he didn't deliver it in person or with his own voice, Max.
Yeah, it was interesting, Nick. Thank you for talking through that alarm that you're going to have. It's a story of the Middle East right now. We'll be right back.
So we have, you know, as usual, we have a protest going on in
Rosalie, did I say hi to you?
Portland.
Rosalie.
This guy's always out, man.
And it's good to see you all in here.
And he's always like trashing,
Charlie. I didn't
like
notice you on here, Charlie Time. And Dirty Hippie. Hello,
like
hello.
other like streamers, like right-leaning streamers, because he's a left-leaning streamer. So I like to always know what the other side's doing. But it looks pretty chill right now. Like, I'm waiting, because usually stuff starts ramping up around this time.
Mike?
So we'll see how it goes.
Where are you karaokeing at, Mike?
Karaoke. I like karaoke.
Yeah, people are still showing up. Now that I get here before the sun goes down, it takes a while for things to kind of heat up. Not heat up down here.
That's what I said. It takes a minute
people making out.
for stuff to start happening and popping off. They don't do it right away. Like, they
Everyone's
start
just kinda still getting
coming
ready.
in little by little. Then they be wildin'. I wonder if Tommy or Ground You can go out today or have another taco.
I don't think I've ever used
I
the
know,
hood on this
I know
one
he
yet,
was
but
like Tommy was out at
might be a
a
good night for it.
what was that, like some council
flashlight.
person or congressperson's speaking event.
Oh, good bar.
Going live.
Yeah, Dirty
Does not
Hippie's a
look
good
like
YouTube
he's
name.
going live
Hey,
right
meow,
now.
meow.
You are so strange. Did you just say meow meow? Like, what the? Bro, what? I heard his phone go off.
Yeah, Backguano. I'm just wondering if I'm showing up in the live Discovery feed these last few nights or not, or if it's all just kind of regulars in here now. I used to get most of my viewers from the live Discovery feed, and I feel like YouTube's not doing that so much anymore. ask if it's okay to go live. Is it possible to overinflate one of those? You would have to get like a stronger fan. It's just like a little, almost like a little computer fan or something that blows them up and then the air escapes, so.
Yeah. My kiddo has one of those.
You would have to probably.
She has the, I think, the Oogie Boogie and the T-Rex one. See what this and see.
Largest supply disruption in history of the global oil market. Joining us now is senior columnist from Jerusalem Post, Yaakov Katz. He's also an author and senior fellow at the Jewish People Policy Institute. Yaakov, it's good to see you. I know that you've recently argued that the IDF had always assumed that at some point Hezbollah would enter this war and this fight with Iran. But the assessment among Israeli intelligence officials and government officials seemed to have been that Hezbollah and their capabilities had been significantly degraded given the war with Israel over the last year or so. But during the ceasefire, they clearly have been able to amass and reconstitute some of their weaponry here, given that huge barrage into Israel overnight. I believe over 200 rockets were fired. So is this an Israeli intelligence miscalculation? And how do you assess Israel will now respond on not one but two fronts, entering this war in southern Lebanon and also continuing its war in Iran?
Well, I think you're right 100% beyond it, that Israelis felt that after the ceasefire with Hezbollah back in November of 2024, Hezbollah had been beaten. And Hezbollah, I don't want to say decimated, but was severely degraded and not capable of these types of barrages of rockets or this type of capability. I even went back earlier today and looked at Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech when the ceasefire went into effect. And he spoke about, we promised victory and here is the victory. But we look at what happened last night and we're looking at what's happening over the last few days. It doesn't seem like Israel was victorious over Hezbollah back when that ceasefire went into effect. And then we saw the continuous Israeli attacks in the year and a half since that ceasefire, but still Hezbollah has significant capabilities. So I don't know if it was an intelligence lapse. I don't know if it was the Israeli government not being completely truthful necessarily in what were the capabilities that Hezbollah retained when that ceasefire did go into effect, but we see what they're capable of. If we listen to the IDF today, the Israel Defense Forces and the Chief of Staff, Eyal Zamir, is basically threatening a long-term campaign inside Lebanon, one that will, for once and for all, and that's the term that I'm hearing within the IDF, once and for all, we will finally remove this threat from the north. And I just want to say one last thing on that. The people of the north, the Israelis, who just went back to their homes in northern Israel, are now sitting in bomb shelters 24/7. There's rockets, there's drones, there's the threat of a potential Hezbollah commando invasion across the border. And for that reason, Israel has beefed up its forces in the north. These are people who deserve a different reality. And it is incumbent upon this government to finally try to create that new reality for those people.
I mean, I'm glad you brought that up because, you know, it has been difficult for a lot of people in northern Israel. And
It would help if I had my mic on. It's because my ducks were passing by, so I couldn't mute it myself. Iran revenge plot. FBI warns the state is now an Iran suicide drone target. So let's go ahead and listen in on this.
Breaking news of the morning. American cities on high alert this morning after the FBI warns the state of California is now a target for Iran as it aspires to strike its coast with drones. No specific timeline or targets have been identified, but local officials are still receiving a precautionary alert. The LA County Sheriff Department saying, quote, in light of current global events, the department remains at an elevated level of readiness and is maintaining increased vigilance as we continue to protect our residents of Los Angeles County. President Trump was asked about the threat yesterday. Watch.
President Trump, what have you heard about this bulletin that some law enforcement put out about a possible Iran revenge plot in California where there would be some kind of a boat offshore launching drones towards...
It's being investigated, but you have a lot of things happening, and all we can do is take them as they come. And the war itself is being prosecuted as well as anybody has ever seen. And this is other countries telling me too. big countries, powerful countries, they said they've never seen anything like it. And they also agree with what I'm doing. They say it's an evil country, and it's been for 47 years that way.
California Governor Gavin Newsom says he's aware of the report, but says there is no imminent threat identified so far. All of this as the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz is escalating, with the Iranians sending drones trying to take out tankers that are traveling through this critical waterway. Joining me now is Red Cat CEO Jeff Thompson. Jeff, thanks very much for being here this morning, and we want to get your expertise on drones and on the security required to stop these drone attacks that Iran is doing to try to stop the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. First, let's talk about this drone threat from Iran on California. What is your reaction?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Maria. Well, we don't have any details currently, but if they're trying to launch, vertical launch mechanisms off of small boats off the coast of California, it's going to be very easy to find and very easy to kill. Whether these are smaller drones like you see in Ukraine coming out of Mexico, there's certain things you can do against that, but the really small ones like FPV drones that we make and other drones you see in Ukraine are going to be very hard to battle because they're just so quick, small, and they're off-the-shelf technology, so they could be anywhere inside of California already.
Right, and that's really what I want to talk about, these off-the-shelf drones, because this conflict in Iran is testing America's ability to combat swarms of cheap drones. They are now a staple in this battle. After Ukraine and Russia demonstrated their effectiveness, defense leaders are stressing the U.S. military has been able to shoot down a majority of Iranian drones, taking out much of the capability. But, Jeff, you have Iran keeping up this fight. And you've said drones are crucial to modern warfare. Your company supplies thousands of drones to the Department of War. So what kind of security is required to stop these drones in the Strait of Hormuz, for example, where yesterday the Iranians took out 3 ships?
Yeah, well, we've proven that we can take out all their big weapons. We have the best military in the world, and we've, been shooting the Archer for 10 days. But what they do with the Shahed 136 is they throw mass. They throw hundreds of them at you, expecting you to use your expensive deterrence and deplete that. So we shine everywhere except for the small drones. And with the recent
that's why I was saying, guys,
administration and Secretary Hegseth,
they can really sneak these over through the Strait of Hormuz if they
Monday, we've been talking to
fly them onto the boats.
A lot of countries in that region.
They won't think nothing of it because they might not even see it or notice that they're there because these are small little things,
to hold us hostage anymore. But that's going to take.
And so they can literally ship them, Because I know some people were saying, well, how are we going to get hit with drones? The U.S. would be able to kind of see it coming, but they really wouldn't. Because think about how many drones are out there right now. How many people have them? Like, I have a drone. I have a very cool one. I have an Iron Man one.
And you could also do
but
with swarms of
you have people out there with drones all the time because a lot of people do it for hobbies.
Lots of different ways that we can do it, but it is a lot of.
Honestly, it's not hard for them to sneak these over and do any form of attack on us. It's actually very plausible for them to do.
Because, for a long time,
now, why California? I'm still kind of trying to figure that one out, guys. I know it's because it's one of our biggest ports, I think a lot of people were saying, so maybe that's why, so they could disrupt it. Because if there's a lot of infighting within the U.S., we're going to be too distracted to see the threat coming,
Which is a Chinese company, but there are so many still in our arsenal, are there not?
Yeah, so I watch your show every week, and you talk a lot about this. And we finally got the big ban done last December. It was actually very bipartisan. So now we just have to execute on that, and you won't be able to buy them.
Yes, protect Mel Gibson. I love Mel Gibson.
That's going to go away. But more importantly, we just have to make better drones than them. And companies like Red Cat and others, we are starting to get requests in war zones to replace Chinese drones. So we are catching them. We have an administration that's finally behind us. So we are now at that stage where we're going to be getting rid of these Chinese drones, which you've been talking about for a long time, and it is crucial that we get them out of our entire country, not mapping our electrical grid and doing all.
They already did it. Like,
using them for any
really?
missions. We should not.
Under Biden, they did that already.
About the use of
Like-
these cheap drones by
Like, y'all remember the balloon thing, right? Where it went across our whole country. And it would, like, a lot of people were saying they were going over specific bases. So they've already mapped us out. And then that was not including the drones that they had found as well. So, yeah, they already know where we're situated. And if they really want to attack us, they probably could. They might not need to put boots on the ground. They might not need to send a nuke, you know, to hit us. Because, like, a nuke we would find. You know, like, we would see that coming. But these little drones with, like, bombs on them or, like, let's say machine guns or whatever on them, we're not going to notice that because it's going to go under the radar because we're looking for the bigger things to shoot down. But, yeah, they can also be sending, like maybe an EMP bomb that will attack our infrastructure. And there goes our stuff because we'd be screwed. So who's to say, or who knows how long it's going to be with what they're going to do, like, especially because they have China on their side who's providing them the drone, which is ironic because this dude just said that we have China's drones. Like, what?
Do all of the above to make sure those 10 don't get through. So you can use some of the Shahed technology that we've been hearing about, like the Wild Hornet from the Ukraine. There's a lot of great technology coming out of there. We've been working with them on stuff that we want to give our soldiers to make sure they actually work in a battlefield. But their technology, they have 10 or 12 companies that do that. And we have to start manufacturing in the same type of technology. But it's mass. It's mass against mass, but it's not humans anymore. It's drone against drone. So if they have 300 drones, we need 500 drones. And these are inexpensive drones. So it's not going to kill our military budget, but it would be, that's the way we have to do it. Fight mass with mass.
That's incredible. So, Jeff, do you feel that you can produce these things in enough time to be effective? I mean, one of the issues with regard to weaponry overall that President Trump has talked about is we can't even produce enough weapons fast enough to counter the adversaries that we face that are on the march across the world.
Yeah, well, if you look at the exquisite weapons, they can only make like 600 a year. And things of that nature, very expensive. But in the small drones, China makes about 4 million. Russia makes about 4 million. I think Ukraine makes even more than 4 million. And, we're making less than $1 million a year currently. So we have to up those numbers. And we can, we just need to get people the purchase orders. If you can't just say, hey, make a bunch of stuff and not give us the capability to produce it. That's where we lack. But the U.S. manufacturing has been ramping up as the recent report came out. We just opened 3 new factories. We're hiring constantly to build manufacturing here, made in USA. People are stepping up to the plate, and I think we'll be fine in about 6 to 9 months.
6 to 9 months, and we're in a war right now. Jeff, is there anything that you wanted to say that I did not ask you that's important for our audience to understand about this drone situation?
Well, I really think the emphasis on securing the Strait is going to be crucial, not just in the next 10 days or the 20 days.
Of course.
This is short-term pain. If we can secure that Strait forever and using our technology, they will never be able to hold us hostage, hold the economy, the global economy.
Yeah. We shall see because we don't know what they're going to hit us with yet.
Equipment
so
for hospitals across the U.S.
It's going to be a fun, bumpy ride, guys.
Trying to run down exactly what impacts
Let
we
me
have.
see if I can find something else.
One impact, for example, is the device that ambulances use to communicate patient information to hospitals. That was taken offline because of the cyber attack. So now paramedics use radio, as they can do, to communicate that information. But it's really an alarming cyber attack. The health sector is convening calls almost hourly about this. The FBI is certainly investigating. Iran, we knew Iran was capable of this, and it was frankly a matter of time before it happened. Yes, they did cite the bombing of the elementary school in Iran as justification, but truth be told, they would have probably tried to carry out a cyber attack no matter what, and this company appears to be the unfortunate opportunistic victim of that.
Hi, welcome back to One World. I'm Bianca Godriga.
And I'm Zain Asher. Several Gulf countries have intercepted new waves of Iranian drones and missiles. Iran has been escalating its attack on vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. In just 2 days, 6 ships have been attacked. According to a new message said to be from the Iranian supreme leader, Iran intends to keep this key shipping route closed.
Meantime, Saudi Arabia's defense ministry says that it has intercepted and destroyed more than 20 drones near the kingdom's oil fields. And take a look at this video from Bahrain. Firefighters battling huge flames at a fuel storage facility allegedly struck by Iran. As for the UAE, their air defenses are also responding to incoming Iranian threats. CNN senior producer Bijan Hosseini is tracking the story from the Qatari capital of Doha. And so here we are, Bijani, 12 days in the attacks against other Gulf nations continue, despite the fact that the new supreme leader has said that they will not be striking their, as he described them, friendly neighbors, just U.S. bases.
If that dude's alive, because some people say that he's in a coma, other people said that he's been murked already, and I guess there's like a shadow person that's running things, so who knows what's going on with Iran and the person that they picked. Now, I have this from ROTC's student killed Old Dominion gunman with ISIS links after shooting. So this is the thing that was going on over there.
Class, that's for military officers in training, and he specifically targeted these ROTC students. He actually asked somebody, is this the ROTC class, before going in and opening fire. He also shouted Allahu Akbar as he opened fire. Again, sounds like terrorism.
Absolutely, and we've seen this before. This individual, I'm sure the investigation will bear this out, was probably inspired. We don't know what he was inspired by. There's a host of maligned actors out there that he could be. ISIS obviously comes to mind with the incident that happened just a few days ago at Gracie Mansion in New York City. And then we have the incident that happened just before Halloween, if you recall.
Funny that they bring up Gracie Mansion, but it wasn't at the mansion that they were aiming for. They were aiming for Jake Lane, the peaceful protesters, to take out.
ISIS attack. So we'll find out more, but this is a crazy threat environment. That's the only term I can use. My friends, I'm sure, would agree. We're looking left, right, up, and down, and the threats are coming from everywhere.
Yeah, Raymond, he first this
if you keep us like distracted, it's gonna make it easy for China to take Taiwan.
And this is really incredible. The students fought back. In fact, the students, are the ones who subdued him. One of those students happened to have a knife, and the FBI said they killed him.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable to me that they were able to do this. When you look at this offender, I'm sure that people that are close to him or around him, that there was some leakage through his friends, coworkers, if he was working, or even his family members. And not that leakage is a direct threat. It's more grievance-driven rhetoric that escalates over time. And the two things that are really important in these type of attacks in both Michigan and Old Dominion is access and time. When they have access and time, if you can disrupt one of those two things, which happened in both instances today, the attack itself usually falls apart.
Yeah, but Tim, this suspect, Mohammed Jallo, this wasn't a new sort of thing. He served time in prison for planning an ISIS-inspired terrorist attack. He was, he started serving prison time in 2017. He was a naturalized citizen who was born in Sierra Leone, but he became radicalized many, many years ago. Why wasn't he on some sort of terror watch list given his history?
That's crazy.
Elizabeth, that's the million-dollar question, and especially being
Especially because you had Trump saying that we were watching all of them. Obviously not, bro. Obviously not. You're not.
He was let out early after receiving an 11-year sentence, but why wasn't he deported? And this would have never have happened. Besides the watch list, that's the million-dollar question as well.
Yeah, Donnell, both these attacks mirror ICE tactics in the past, using vehicles to crash into buildings to gain entrance, using firearms to then kill. There's a pattern here, and we have now had 4 attacks of some kind, at least,
Yeah.
since the war in Iran began. The first was that shooting in Austin, Texas, by that man wearing an Iranian flag T-shirt and shouting Allahu Akbar.
The hack.
Then we had this hacker group that launched a massive cyber attack on a huge maker of medical
It's funny they're
devices
not including the attack on Jake Lane.
for the bombing of that all-girls school in Iran. And now these 2 attacks today, one by a man who'd been radicalized by ISIS, the other on a prominent Jewish school and synagogue. Are we going to be seeing more of these as the war
Probably.
continues?
Because they have obviously sleeper cells
You
here.
mentioned the Mamdani case, or at least the Gracie Mansion case, in which individuals
It's
who
not
aligned
clear
themselves
that had to do with the war in Iran, or any of these had to do with the war in Iran for that matter. But you're right. Those 2 teenagers were also radicalized by ISIS, according to what they told police.
Yep.
And here's the point. So when you talk about the pathways of radicalization and mobilization of violence, there's a whole lot of ways these individuals can do this. There are individuals out there who couldn't pick Iran out on a map, right? But they're anti-Semitic, they're anti-Israeli, and they're being mobilized online to act out in violence.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download.
That's crazy.
Pierce Israel's sophisticated air defenses.
One of those small bombs struck the roof of this residential building, and you can see the hole is only a few inches wide. And yet this is the kind of destruction that just one of those small bombs can cause, one of multiple impact points from a single
Our
missile.
News Nation app right now.
We confirmed 9 separate impacts from that one missile. They include this strike on a Tel Aviv car wash that severely wounded 1 man and another in a neighboring suburb. The impacts are spread out across 7 miles of mostly residential neighborhoods, illustrating why using these munitions in populated areas violates international law. The next day, another cluster missile attack sends bomblets tumbling south of Tel Aviv. At least 5 impacts scattered across 8 miles. 1 bomb hit a street here. Nearby, 2 construction workers were killed. The first fatalities in Israel caused by these weapons. Israel's military, which has itself deployed cluster munitions in other wars, says about half of Iran's missile attacks use these munitions. Vehicles overturned, shrapnel slicing through anything near the impact. Iran's missiles are more destructive when equipped with a single large warhead, but the clusters are much tougher to intercept.
It's a mechanism to bypass active missile defense. In some cases, you can hit the target with an arrow or with a THAAD missile, for example, but the bomblets will continue and will get to the target.
The Israeli military does try and intercept these bomblets, expending a costly and finite quantity of interceptors in the process.
So if there is a strategy here by Iran, that could be it, to try and deplete Israel's air defenses, right?
We know it. I think Iran doesn't have the capability at the moment of orchestrating a large barrage of ballistic missiles. So if Iran wants to cause a lot of damage, even with a small number of ballistic missiles.
I have this video from Jesse Waters that we're watch what the nonsense about.
Since last night, 4 tankers have been attacked in the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian regime is being systematically decimated, so economic warfare is their last resort. The Iranians clipping the ships with unmanned drones and small rocket fire, doing small amounts of damage, but just enough to rattle the insurance underwriters and slow down oil flow. A senior White House official tells Axios, quote, the Iranians effing around with the Strait makes Trump more dug in. Oil spiked on the news, and Brent crude closed around $100 a barrel.
We're going to be in very good shape. You see what's happening. They are pretty much at the end of the line. Doesn't mean we're going to end it immediately, but they've got no Navy, they've got no Air Force, they've got no anti-air traffic, anything. They have no systems of control. We're just riding free range over that country. And now we're going to look very strongly at the Straits.
We reopened the Strait before, in the 80s, during the tanker wars, when Iraq was doing battle with Iran. Fortunately, today, we're in good hands. Former CIA Director General Petraeus explains why.
how wonderful that we actually have an admiral in charge of U.S. Central Command instead of soldiers like me or Marines like some of the others. He knows this strait. He's been through it innumerable times. He knows they were ready for this.
CENTCOM Commander Brad Cooper's already sunk Iran's Navy, but they still have the Mosquito fleet, little speedboats. They're a pest in the Gulf. Some are loaded up with rockets and drones. They haven't yet, but Iran can also mine the strait. Mines can either be anchored to the seabed or moored on a chain and can detonate over 250 pounds of explosives. We've already sank 30 Iranian mine-laying seacraft, but the Iranians have mobile surface-to-ship missile batteries on the coastline. So the United States is going to have to strike Iranian ports and pacify any aggression on the shore. That's going to take a couple of weeks. Right now, the thinking is we can do it without boots on the ground. And while that happens, the U.S. Navy
That's what we're hoping for.
Convoys for the
so we don't have to have, like,
is it your
boots on the ground
that the volume of ships going through the Strait of Hormuz will be improving immediately from now?
It is my belief that as soon as it is militarily possible, the U.S. Navy, perhaps with an international coalition, will be escorting vessels through.
We're hearing the British Navy might get off the sidelines and help the Americans punch open the strait. The Japanese could lend a hand too. Their Navy's top notch, and they get almost all their oil from the Gulf. The question is, when's it open? Here's the Energy Secretary.
Do you think
You know what's funny, guys, is like
U.S. Navy will be
we're not hearing anything about
I think that
yes, Russia
I
anymore
think that is quite
in
likely
Ukraine.
the
Isn't that
case.
crazy?
But again, I mean, I'll be over at the Pentagon later today. But that is what the military is working on. And yes, a lot of critical materials come out of the Straits of Hormuz.
It's not just oil that flows out of the strait, fertilizer, aluminum. The longer it's closed, the more prices for everything jump. The White House has it under control. Officials tell Axios this: no one's panicking, but it's a concern. He's pulling out the stops. There's plenty of oil. It's just getting it on the market. That's the thing. We just announced a release of 172 million barrels of oil from the U.S. Strategic Reserve, and that should help lower prices at the pump.
Can you give us a timeline on when you're planning to tap the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, a timeline of when that could happen?
We're going to be doing it very quickly, and then we'll fill it up. We'll fill up our reserves.
The goal is to open the strait, finish the mission, and have gas prices back down to $2 a gallon well before the midterms. But the enemy gets a say. Economic terrorism's the regime's last bit of leverage.
They're trying really hard to
controlling the strait
win the midterms, but I don't think any of this is going to win the midterms, guys.
The president just busted out his economic toolbox. He's backstopping the insurance markets, lifting oil sanctions, invoking the Defense Production Act and the Jones Act, which is going to shave about 10 cents off every gallon of gas. But Operation Epic Fury can't be considered a success if we don't take full control of the strait. This is a major test of the president's resolve. It's only been a week and a half, and we've already killed the Ayatollah, his top brass, knocked out their Navy, Air Force.
Dude, that was dope, though. Like,
but
to
we
be
still have a
honest,
little more work to do dealing with
like,
the drones,
the fact that
hitting their defense industrial base,
you
and
had
targeting the Army, militia, police, and the Guard.
you had these people literally go and have meetings together
So far,
in one room,
has only suffered 7
their whole cabinet.
casualties.
Like, what do you think was going to happen, bro?
But there's no debate who's in control.
Most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we?
So, the face he's making. So, I think that's part is like crazy because like he took out the Ayatollah guy, right? And then there was like I think he took out like the other leader that got picked. And then you had them all come together in a meeting, and then he took that whole cabinet out. So that is hilarious because it's like, y'all never heard of Zoom? Like, why would you keep your whole government in one room that could be attacked? Like, that was just stupid on their part.
And God bless those brave souls. But there's no debate who's in control.
Most people say it's already been won. It's just a question of when. When do we stop? We can hit sections of Tehran and other places that if you do it, it'll be almost impossible for them to rebuild their country. And we don't want that. But we can hit electric, we could take apart their electric capacity within 1 hour, and it would take them 25 years to rebuild it.
We don't want to have to hit civilian infrastructure because we don't have a beef with the Iranian people. We want the country to be able to rebuild easily when the war's over and take their country back. But the regime leftovers are launching indiscriminate attacks against Middle Eastern neighborhoods and banks, refineries, even American consulates. Imagine they had a nuclear weapon. It's exactly why we're in this when we are. The president thinks the IRGC are like the Gestapo and believes they haven't been punished enough. In the past hours, they've been using cluster bombs.
First responders are here at a scene in Tel Aviv where an Iranian cluster munition exploded after it was launched in the latest ballistic missile barrage. You can see the amount of rubble and debris here. First responders say multiple people are being treated with shrapnel injuries, and there are at least a dozen impact sites.
This regime doesn't care who it kills. It's just out for blood. They're cornered and want to wreak havoc on the neighborhood to fracture the alliance.
They don't care.
And Ayatollah Jr., well, his whole family was taken out, so he wants a taste of revenge. We haven't seen him since they crowned him supreme leader, but today,
supposedly he's either in a coma or
a statement through Iranian state TV. Listen.
Sanian, I assure everyone that we will not refrain from avenging the blood of your martyrs. The revenge we have in mind does not concern only the martyrdom of the great leader of the revolution. Rather, every member of the nation who is killed by the enemy constitutes a separate case in the file of retribution.
Little Ayatollah has to sound tough so the population doesn't start a revolution. But reports say he's wounded, hiding in a hospital underground. Other reports say he's in a coma and might have lost a leg. It's kind of like the Biden situation. You don't really know who's running the country. So how weak is the regime? Hard to say. Trump's told the Iranian people to stay down. It's too dangerous outside. But when it is time and the smoke clears, to take back your country. A source tells Axios that there are going to be efforts to unleash forces inside of Iran and re-energize the population to topple the regime. But we have no idea if that's possible or what that even looks like or how long that could even take. And the Iranians are still sitting on some uranium they squirreled away after Operation Midnight Hammer. That's too dangerous to leave in their hands. They're highly motivated to nuke up as fast as they can because it's their only defense. That makes Pickaxe Mountain, Iran's fortified underground facility, a major target. It needs to be secured, and that could require special forces at a later date. So there's some unfinished business in Iran: uranium, Strait, Ayatollah Jr., and more military targets. The commander-in-chief seems patient and resolute, sensitive to the markets, and ready to see the mission through. The United States cannot let a Chinese terror proxy control oil flow. Now, if we win this war in Iran, we win the war against China. It's that simple. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.
Yeah, this is probably getting completely out of control, guys. Like, completely out of control. And I don't know if Trump is going to be able to do anything about it. Like, I don't know if he's going to be able to stop it or if it's just going to escalate even worse. Like, honestly, we have no idea what's going to, like, come. So, like, we just got to sit back and wait and watch. And hopefully, hopefully nothing happens. Hopefully, it fixes itself and then we could be like, yay, we knew it, we won, yay. Because that's gonna suck if something happens where we end up like in a big World War III kind of scenario. Or like a mixture,
For everything.
And this. Yeah, seems like a slow night. I was going to protesting, but ain't nobody protesting. Just like a couple people at the Portland facility, but like nothing else is happening. Nobody's out. Usually by now you would have like a lot of the patriots out up in Portland, but I guess they decided to sit it out. Checking to see if anybody else is coming out to play, but I don't think so. Yeah, it looks like right now, like everything's like dead in the water. Which is crazy. Go back to CNN got going on.
We've maybe seen over the past 10
I know
days
they were
since
talking
they
about
joined,
like
the war to avenge the death
like
of
a plane
ultimate
like
sponsor,
fell or
Iranian
something.
Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. As you rightly pointed out, most of those intercepted. The Israeli response pretty immediate and ferocious against the Dahia suburbs of southern Beirut. There were 8 individuals killed in a strike on a beach nearby there, and huge devastation shown in the blasts that occurred across that whole region. Now, on top of that, the IDF have issued a quite remarkable evacuation order, essentially telling people to get out of everywhere south of the Zahrani River. Now, the Litani River, below that about 20 kilometers, was where the previous forced evacuation zone was declared. This is something new and something bigger. And remember, each time a new area is declared as needing to be evacuated, that means hundreds of thousands of people are potentially on the move. And so we might actually be looking at people who fled the Litani evacuation zone to the area below the Zahrani River now having to move for a second time. Many indeed fled to Beirut and then found southern Beirut, increasingly large parts of it being under evacuation orders too. And in fact, we've also just heard that a building not far indeed from the central part where the government is based in Beirut is also under an evacuation order. So the initial signs are clearly that we should expect a further Israeli bombardment of those areas too. But there are also signs potentially that the Israelis may be moving from the limited targeted raids on the ground that they've been performing over the last week or so. They went from saying there were 2 to plural a couple of days ago now to something potentially bigger. Nobody, I think, at this point has openly set a ground.
So I have this from Canadian Prepper. He was also one that we were watching yesterday who was sounding an alarm about everything that's going on. So I wanted to kind of bring him up again.
The invocation of the Emergencies Act was completely unjustified. The government now, by 4 judges, has been deemed to have broken the law and violated all of our rights. So what? Now what? What's the consequence? We've never taken our homeland security seriously for one reason: America. We believe the Americans, because of their own self-interest, are going to come and save us. What happens to Canada in a cyber attack or any other major event? We would be completely screwed. I just don't think that this government can rise to the challenge. If China decides economically they're going to come in, they're already logistically set up. China is going to be invited in by Canada. This is the battlefield for World War III, is Canada. So make your plans and be prepared. It's an insurance policy.
I don't know if Canada would use if China would use Canada. I think that they probably wouldn't. I think what China wants to do is they want to take Taiwan. They don't care about the United States right now. They don't care about Canada. They just want Taiwan. And if once they have Taiwan, then they're going to be golden, because Taiwan is the maker of all the chips and stuff like that. And it sucks because a lot of stuff we have here in America, we don't make. We get it from overseas. And if they kind of take that away from us, we're kind of screwed, guys, on the real. But I don't know. It seems like a kind of boring day today. So I guess it's going to be something that's going to pop off tomorrow instead. So I'm going to kind of leave it here with you guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And share. And I'll see you guys next time.
Time's up, my little heathens. Harley's gotta cause more trouble. Thanks for the chaos.